The seventh law of achievement is the law of preparation, which states that perfect performance is preceded by painstaking preparation. The mark of a serious person and a true professional in any field is that they take more time to prepare thoroughly than the average person does. The non-serious person or non-professional always attempts to bluff or wing it, trying to get by with a minimum of preparation without realizing that their level of preparation is immediately evident to everyone around them. One of my favorite quotes, which has had a powerful effect on shaping my life and attitude, comes from Abraham Lincoln, who said, "I shall study and prepare myself, and someday my chance will come." He recognized, as do all great men and women, that painstaking and thorough preparation is the key to the future. The first part of the law of preparation is simply, do your homework. It's the details that trip you up every single time. My friend Joel Weldon gave a wonderful talk entitled, "Elephants Don't Bite," emphasizing that it's the mosquitoes of life, the small things that tend to be ignored, that cause you the most trouble. No one ever gets bitten by an elephant, but people get bitten by mosquitoes all the time. His message was that if you want to get to the top of your field, you must be fastidious about the little things because, as a minister once said, God is in the details. The second part of the law of preparation comes from the business writer Peter Drucker, who wrote that action without thinking is the cause of every failure. Action without taking the time to think through the details and their possible ramifications seems to be the underlying cause of most failures in life. Conversely, action preceded by thinking and planning is the cause of virtually every success. This doesn't mean that you'll automatically be successful if you plan thoroughly in advance, but it means that you must almost inevitably fail if you don't do it. The third part of this law comes from Benjamin Trigo, who said, "If it's not worth doing, it's not worth doing well." Details are important, but you need to think through the value and importance of each detail before you overcommit your time and resources to them. The eighth law of achievement is the law of forced efficiency. This law states that the more things you have to do in a limited space of time, the more you will be forced to work on your most important tasks. This is another way of saying that there's never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the important things. The more you take on, the more likely it is that you'll be forced to think, analyze, and evaluate your tasks and activities in such a way that you spend your limited mental and physical energy on just those tasks that are most vital to your success. There are two parts to the law of forced efficiency. First, there will never be enough time to do everything that you have to do. The busier and more successful you become, the truer this statement will be. If you have lots of time to do your work, it means that you are underemployed, underpaid, and well along the low road to frustration and disappointment in your career. The fact is that you can only discover how much you can do by trying to do too much. You can only find out how far you can go by going too far. You discover how much you can take on by taking on more than you can do. The second part of this law, which is the key question in personal efficiency and time management, is to ask yourself continually, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? Always keep yourself on track and focus on your most important responsibilities by asking yourself, hour by hour and minute by minute, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? The ninth law of achievement is the law of decision. It says that every great leap forward in life is preceded by a clear decision that leads to action. All high-achieving men and women tend to be very decisive in their thoughts and actions. They think things through carefully, decide exactly what they want, and then make clear decisions and take action to make those decisions a reality. In your life, you've had several experiences where you've been unsure of what to do, and you've resolved your dilemma by making a clear decision one way or the other. In looking back, you'll probably find that that was the turning point for you, and that everything else flowed from the decision. The ability to make good decisions is one of the most critical thinking skills of the successful man or woman. In fact, in one study, the careers of managers who were promoted rapidly were compared to those of managers who were passed over for promotion. Researchers found that the one distinguishing behavior between the two groups was that the more rapidly promoted managers were more decisive in doing their jobs. The interesting fact that came out of this study was that, given written tests with hypothetical problems, both sets of managers were equally accurate in their answers. The more successful managers, however, on the job, were willing to make decisions based on their answers, while the unsuccessful managers were afraid to, for fear of making a mistake. The very act of being decisive can be the critical factor that enables you to take command of a situation and move ahead more rapidly. We've found that high achievers are not necessarily those who make the right decisions every time, but they are those people who make their decisions right. They accept feedback and self-correct. They take in new information and they change if necessary. But they are always decisive, always moving forward, never wishy-washy or vacillating in their attitudes toward life. The first part of the law of decision is simply this: act boldly, and unseen forces will come to your aid. It seems that when you grasp a situation and step forward courageously, a series of unseen forces, most of which are explained by the laws in this program, seem to emerge and help you to achieve your goals. Your very willingness to take action, rather than to delay or procrastinate, seems to bring universal powers to your assistance. The second part of the law of decision comes from the wonderful book by Dorothea Brand, entitled Wake Up and Live. She wrote that the discovery that changed her life and the lives of thousands of others who heard it from her in her public talks was the simple success formula that says, act as if it were impossible to fail, and it shall be. When you imagine that your success will be guaranteed if you simply take action, and you act on that premise, a whole series of forces begins to support you and move you toward the attainment of your desires. So when in doubt, act as if it were impossible to fail, and push forward. The third part of the law of decision comes from the famous Nike commercial, which says, just do it. These three words really summarize one of the great formulas for success: just do it. So be decisive, go for it, take a chance, act boldly, and unseen forces will come to your aid. The 10th law of achievement is the law of creativity. It says that every advance in human life begins with an idea in the mind of one person. It's ideas that you generate that enable you to solve your problems, overcome your obstacles, and achieve your goals. Ideas are the keys to the future. It's hardly possible for you to achieve anything of note except to the degree to which you think and do something new and different from what's been done before. All it takes is a small innovation to lay the foundation for a fortune and great success in life. The first part of this law says that your ability to generate constructive ideas is, to all intents and purposes, unlimited. Therefore, your future potential is unlimited as well. Ideas are a mode of transportation, a vehicle that you can use to take you from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. Your job is simply to generate as many ideas as possible, evaluate them carefully against your current goals, and then to take action on them. There's virtually no obstacle in life that you cannot overcome with the power of thought, with the power of creative concentration, with the power of ideas. The second part of this law comes from Napoleon Hill, who said in his famous words, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve." Your mind is structured in such a way that you cannot, at the same time, have an idea and not also have the ability to bring that idea into reality. The very existence of an idea in your conscious mind means that you have within you and around you the capacity to achieve it. The only question you have to ask yourself is, how badly do I want it? The third part of the law of creativity comes from Napoleon Bonaparte, who said, "Imagination rules the world." Everything you see around you is the result of what was initially a single idea in the mind of a single person. Our entire world started from thought, brought into reality. The fourth and final part of this law comes from Einstein, who said simply that imagination is more important than facts. There have been countless occasions in your life, in the lives of others, where the facts say one thing, but your ideas and creative energy enable you to do something completely different. Virtually every important turning point in your life will be marked by an idea that you had at that time and moment. All great changes in human life and human destiny begin with an idea that causes you to see things differently and to take action that you would not have taken in the absence of that idea. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever your situation, you have the creative capacity in the form of an infinite ability to generate ideas to solve any problem and achieve any goal. It's up to you. The 11th law of achievement is the law of flexibility. This law says that success is best achieved when you are clear about the goal but flexible about the process of getting there. This is one of the most important conclusions ever reached by high-achieving men and women. When you set a clear goal for yourself and make a plan, you usually have a fairly good idea of what it is you have to do to get whatever it is you want to achieve. However, 1,000 things can change, each of which will require alterations in your plan of action. The most optimistic and enthusiastic people are those who are open, flexible, and fluid in the face of the inevitable and the myriad changes required as they move toward the accomplishment of something that's important to them. The first part of the law of flexibility is that the experience of resistance and frustration is often an indication that you're doing the wrong thing. Whenever you feel that you're butting your head against the wall and not making progress, step back and re-examine your plan. Be sure that the goal you're working toward is still the goal that you desire, and then sit down and make better plans. Take the mentality of a computer programmer. When he designs a computer program, he knows that the program will be full of defects when it's completed. No computer program ever works perfectly the first time it's tried. However, the programmer accepts this as a factor of life and then begins to go back through the program step by step to remove the defects. When the programmer is finished, the program will operate perfectly. By the same token, whenever your plans don't seem to be bearing fruit, look in the mirror, re-examine your plans, and redesign them until you have faultless plans that work and move you forward without anxiety and frustration. The second part of the law of flexibility is that you are only as free in life as the number of developed options that you have available to you. Your freedom and happiness are largely determined by the number of alternatives that you've developed in case your first choice doesn't work. The more thoroughly develop your options and alternatives, the more freedom you have if one course of action doesn't develop as you expected. You're fully prepared to switch. In my courses on decision making, once the decision has been reached, I encourage the participants to ask the question, what else would be a good decision in this situation? The very exercise of developing alternatives enables you to think more clearly and can be a major contributor to the level of achievement that you experience. The third part of the law of flexibility is that crisis is change trying to take place. Whenever you're experiencing a crisis or difficulty of any kind, step back for a moment and ask yourself, what change is trying to take place that is being signaled to me as a result of this crisis? You may be having a crisis in your work, in your personal relationships, with your health, or with your business. In almost every case, a crisis is an indication that something is wrong and that pursuing the same course would be unwise. So, what is the change that's trying to take place in your life right now? The fourth part of the law of flexibility is that errant assumptions lie at the root of every failure. Almost every failure you have will be based on an incorrect assumption that you've made and accepted without question. It's always a good exercise to clarify your assumptions, especially when things aren't going as well as you want. So, first, what are your explicit assumptions? These are the ones you're clearly aware of. Second, what are your implicit assumptions? These are the ones you may be accepting without question. What if your most cherished assumptions were wrong? What changes would this dictate? How flexible and fluid would you have to be to redirect your course of action if something you assume as fact turned out not to be true at all? Whenever you make the right decisions and achieve your goals on schedule, it's because the assumptions you were operating on turned out to be true. Many people go broke starting their own businesses because they assume there's a big enough market for their product or service. They also assume customers will switch from their current suppliers to them for no other reason than being in the marketplace. Sometimes they assume they have the talents and skills to provide the product or service at a competitive price and still make a profit. Your willingness to question your assumptions, to test them against reality, with the willingness to accept the possibility that you could be wrong, is the kind of attitude that will ultimately lead you to great achievement. Flexibility is perhaps the most important quality necessary for success in our competitive society for the rest of the century and beyond. The 12th law of achievement is the law of persistence. This law says that your ability to persist in the face of setbacks and disappointments is your measure of your belief in yourself and your ability to succeed. Persistence is the iron quality of success. Sometimes, your willingness to persist is your greatest asset and is the quality that separates you from everyone else. Sometimes, the strongest thing you have going for you is your ability to persist longer than anyone else. The first part of the law of persistence is simply that persistence is self-discipline in action. It's when you face the inevitable setbacks, delays, disappointments, and temporary defeats, and you continue to persist in spite of them, that you demonstrate to yourself and others that you have the character of self-discipline and self-mastery that is absolutely indispensable for the great success that you desire. Churchill summarized the second part of the law of persistence when he said, "Never give up, never, never give up." Churchill believed, and he proved throughout his lifetime, that bulldog tenacity in the face of what appeared to be overwhelming defeat was often the critical quality that turned that defeat into victory. Earlier, I mentioned that intense burning desire is essential to overcoming obstacles and achieving great goals. For your desire to be intense enough, your goals must be purely personal. They must be goals that you choose for yourself rather than goals that someone else wants for you or that you want to achieve to please someone in your life. In goal setting, for the process to be effective, you must be perfectly selfish about what you really want for yourself. This doesn't mean that you cannot do things for other people, either at home or at work. This simply means that in setting goals for your life, you start with yourself and work forward. The great question, one of the most important questions in goal setting, is this: what do I really want to do with my life? If you could do, be, or have anything at all in life, what would it be? Remember, you can't hit a target you can't see. You should return to this question over and over again in the months and years ahead. What do I really want to do with my life? In determining your true goals, you start with your vision, your values, and your ideals. When you begin, these will often feel a bit like fantasies detached from reality. However, now your job is to make them concrete, like designing a dream house on paper. You start with your general goals and then move to more specific goals. What are your 3 most important goals in your business and career right now? What are your 3 most important financial goals right now? What are your 3 most important family or relationship goals right now? What are your 3 most important health and fitness goals right now? The flip side of the above questions is for you to ask: what are my 3 biggest worries or concerns in life right now? What bothers you, worries you, concerns you, and preoccupies you in your day-to-day life? What aggravates or irritates you? What is robbing you of happiness more than anything else? As a friend of mine often asks, where does it hurt? Once you have identified your biggest problems, worries, or concerns, ask yourself, what are the ideal solutions to each of these problems? How could I eliminate these problems or worries immediately? What is the fastest and most direct way to solve this problem? In 1142, William of Ockham, a British philosopher, proposed a method of problem solving that has come to be referred to as Occam's razor. This way of thinking has become famous and popular throughout the ages. What Occam said was that the simplest and most direct solution requiring the fewest number of steps is usually the correct solution to any problem. Many people make the mistake of overcomplicating goals and problems. But the more complicated the solution, the less likely it is ever to be implemented, and the longer the time it will take to get any results. Your aim should be to simplify the solution and go directly to the goal as quickly as possible. For example, many people tell me that they would like to double their incomes. If they are in sales, I ask them, what is the fastest and most direct way to double your income? After they have come up with a series of suggestions, I give them what I consider to be the best answer. Double the amount of time that you spend face-to-face with qualified prospects. The most direct way to increase your sales has always been the same. Spend more time with better prospects. If you don't upgrade your skills or change anything else about what you are doing, but you double the number of minutes that you spend face-to-face with prospects each day, you will probably double your sales income. According to studies that go back as far as 1928, the average salesperson today spends 90 minutes each day face-to-face with prospects. The highest paid salespeople spend 2 or 3 times that amount. They organize their days efficiently to assure that they spend more minutes in the presence of people who can and will buy their products or services. And the more time they spend with prospects and customers, the more skilled they become at selling, the better they get, the more they sell, and the more they earn, and in less time. If you examine your work, you will find that 20% of what you do accounts for 80% of the value of all the things you do. In my advanced coaching programs, we teach our clients to identify those 20% of activities that contribute the very most value and then do twice as many of them. Instead of using their intelligence to juggle their time and accomplish a greater number of tasks, we teach them to do fewer tasks but tasks of higher value. Some of our clients double their productivity and subsequently their income in as little as 30 days with this approach, even if they have been working for many years in the same position. Always look for the simplest and most direct way to get from where you are to where you want to go. Look for the solution that has the fewest number of steps. And most of all, take action. Get going. Get busy. Develop a sense of urgency. The best ideas in the world are of no value until they are implemented. As the poet said, the saddest words of mice and men are these: it might have been. In determining your true goals, use the magic wand technique. Imagine that you have a magic wand that you can wave over a particular area of your life. When you wave this magic wand, your wishes come true. Wave a magic wand over your business and career. If you could have any 3 wishes in your work, what would they be? Wave a magic wand over your financial life. If you could have any 3 wishes in your financial life, what would they be? Wave a magic wand over your family life and your relationships. If you could have any 3 wishes in this area, what would they be? If your family life were ideal in every respect, what would it look like? Wave a magic wand over your health and fitness. If you could have any 3 wishes with regard to your body and your physical well-being, what would they be? If your health were perfect, how would it be different from today? Wave a magic wand over your skills and abilities. If you could have any 3 skills or abilities developed to a high level, what would they be? In what areas would you like to excel? The magic wand technique is fun on the one hand, but quite revealing on the other. Whenever you imagine that you have a magic wand, your true goals in that area emerge. You can also use this exercise for other people who are not sure about what they want or where they're going. It is amazing what comes out when you ask this question. Here is another goal-setting question that reflects your true values. Imagine that you went to a doctor for a full medical checkup. Your doctor calls you back a few days later and says, "I have good news for you and I have bad news for you." The good news is that for the next 6 months, you're going to live the healthiest and most energetic life you could possibly imagine. The bad news is that at the end of 180 days, because of an incurable illness, you will drop stone dead. If you learned today that you only had 6 months left to live, how would you spend your last 6 months on Earth? Who would you spend the time with? Where would you go? What would you strive to complete? What would you do more of or less of? When you ask yourself this question, what comes to the top of your mind will be a reflection of your true values. Your answer would almost always include the most important people in your life. Very few people in this situation would say, "Well, I'd like to get back to the office and return a few phone calls." In setting your true goals, this exercise is an extension of imagining that you have no limitations. Make up a dream list. A dream list is a list of everything you would like to be, have, or do in your life sometime in the future if you had no limitations at all. Mark Victor Hansen, co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, recommends that you sit down with a pad of paper and make a list of at least 100 goals that you want to accomplish in your lifetime. Then imagine that you have all the time, all the money, all the friends, all the abilities, and all the resources necessary to achieve these goals. Let yourself dream and fantasize. Just write down everything that you would like to have as if you had no limitations at all. The amazing discovery you will make is that within 30 days after writing out this list of 100 dreams, remarkable things will begin to happen in your life, and your goals will start to be achieved at a rate that you cannot even imagine today. This seems to happen to virtually everyone who has written down at least 100 goals. You should give it a try. You could be amazed at the results. Here is another goal-setting question. If you were to receive $1 million tomorrow, cash, tax-free, how would you change your life? What would you do differently? What would you get into or out of? What would you do more of or less of? What would be the first thing you would do if you learned today that you had just received $1 million cash? This is a way of asking the question, how would you change your life if you were completely free to choose? The primary reason that we stay in situations that are not the best for us is because we fear change. But when you imagine that you have all the money that you will ever need to do or be whatever you want, your true goals often emerge. For example, if you were currently in the wrong job for you, the idea of winning a large amount of money would cause you to think about quitting that job immediately. If you were in the right job for you, however, winning a lot of money would not affect your career choice at all. So ask yourself, what would I do if I won $1 million cash, tax-free, tomorrow? Here's another question to help you clarify your true goals. What have you always wanted to do but been afraid to attempt? When you look around your world and you look at other people who are doing things that you admire, what have you always wanted to do as well but have been afraid of taking the chance? Have you wanted to start your own business? Have you wanted to run for public office? Have you wanted to embark on a new career? What have you always wanted to do but been afraid to attempt? In setting goals for your life, short and long term, you should continually ask yourself, what do I most enjoy doing in each area of my life? For instance, if you could do just one thing all day long in your work, what would it be? If you could do any job or full-time activity all the time without pay, what would it be? What sort of work or activity gives you the greatest joy and satisfaction? The psychologist Abraham Maslow identified what he called peak experiences, those moments or times when the individual feels the happiest, most elated, and exhilarated. One of your aims in life is to enjoy as many peak experiences as possible. You achieve this by thinking back and identifying those moments of peak experience in your past and by imagining how you could repeat them in your present and future. What have been your happiest moments in life up to now? How could you have more of those moments in the future? What do you really love to do? You should have goals for social and community involvement and contribution as well. Think about what kind of difference you would like to make in your world. What organizations, causes, needs, or social problems would you like to work on or end? What changes would you like to see? Who is there who is less fortunate than you that you would like to help? If you were independently wealthy, what causes would you support most of all? What could you do today to begin making a difference in your world? Don't wait until some future date when everything will be ideal. Instead, start today in some way. One of the most important areas of goal setting is your financial life. If you can earn and accumulate all the money you need, you could probably achieve most of your non-financial goals faster and easier than you can today. If your life were ideal, how much money would you like to earn each month, each year? How much would you like to save and invest each month and year? How much would you like to be worth sometime in the future? What sort of estate would you like to accumulate by the time you retire, and when would you like that to be? Most people are hopelessly confused about their financial goals. But when you become absolutely clear about them for yourself, your ability to achieve them increases dramatically. When you are absolutely clear about what you want, you can then think about your goals most of the time, and the more you think about them, the faster they will materialize in your life. This process of asking yourself questions about your goals in each part of your life begins to clarify your thinking and make you a more focused and definite person. As Zig Ziglar says, you move from being a wandering generality to becoming a meaningful specific. Most of all, you reach the point where you can determine your major definite purpose in life. This is the springboard for great achievement and extraordinary accomplishment. Your major definite purpose will be the topic of the next chapter, and how to achieve it will be the subject of the chapters to come. Determine your true goals. Write down your 3 most important goals in life right now. What are your 3 most pressing problems or worries right now? If you want $1 million cash tax-free tomorrow, what changes in your life would you make immediately? What do you really love to do? What gives you the greatest feelings of value, importance, and satisfaction? If you could wave a magic wand over your life and have anything you wanted, what would you wish for? How would you spend your time if you only had 6 months left to live? What would you really want to do with your life, especially if you had no limitations? How many times do you think that people try to achieve their new goals before they give up? The average is less than 1 time. Most people give up before they even make the first try. And the reason they give up is because of all the obstacles, difficulties, problems, and roadblocks that immediately appear as soon as you decide to do something you've never done before. The fact is that successful people fail far more often than unsuccessful people. Successful people try more things, fall down, pick themselves up, and try again over and over again before they win through. Unsuccessful people try a few things, and if they try at all, very soon quit and go back to what they were doing before. You should expect to fail and fall short many times before you achieve your goals. You should look upon failure and temporary defeat as a part of the price you pay on your road to success. As Henry Ford once said, failure is merely an opportunity to more intelligently begin again. Once you have decided upon your goal, ask yourself, why am I not there already? What is holding me back? Why haven't I achieved that goal up to now? Identify all the obstacles that stand between you and your goal. Write down every single thing that you can think of that might be blocking you or slowing you down from moving ahead. Remember, you become what you think about most of the time. In the area of problems and difficulties, successful people have a particular way of thinking that we call solution orientation. Successful people think about solutions most of the time, while unsuccessful people think about problems and difficulties most of the time. Solution-oriented people are constantly looking for ways to get over, around, and past the obstacles that stand in their ways. Problem-oriented people talk continuously about their problems, about who or what caused them, how unhappy or angry they are, and how unfortunate it is that they have occurred. Between you and anything you want to accomplish, there will always be problems or obstacles of some kind. This is why success is sometimes defined as the ability to solve problems. Personal leadership is the ability to solve problems. Effectiveness is the ability to solve problems. All men and women who accomplish anything of importance are people who have developed the ability to solve the problems that stand between them and their goals. Fortunately, problem solving is a skill like riding a bicycle or typing with a typewriter which you can learn. And the more you focus on solutions, the more and better solutions will come to you. The better you get at solving problems, the faster you will be at solving each subsequent problem. And as you get better and faster at solving problems, you will attract even bigger and more expensive problems to solve. Eventually, you will be solving problems that can have significant financial consequences for you and others. This is the way the world works. The fact is that you have the ability to solve any problem or to overcome any obstacle on the path to your goal if you desire the goal intensely enough. You have within you right now all the intelligence and ability you will ever need to overcome any obstacle that could possibly hold you back. One of the most important breakthroughs in thinking in the last few decades was described by Eliyahu Goldratt in his book, The Goal, as the theory of constraints. This theory says that between you and anything you want to accomplish, there is a constraint or limiting factor that determines how fast you get to where you want to go. For example, if you are driving down the freeway and there is traffic construction that is narrowing all the cars into a single lane, this bottleneck or choke point becomes the constraint that determines how fast you get to your destination. The speed at which you pass through this bottleneck will largely determine the speed of your entire journey. In accomplishing any major goal, there is always a constraint or bottleneck you must get through as well. Your job is to identify it accurately and then to focus all of your energies on alleviating that key constraint. Your ability to remove this bottleneck or deal with this limiting factor can help you move ahead faster than perhaps any other step you can take. The 80-20th rule applies to the constraints between you and your goals. This rule says that 80% of your constraints will be within yourself. Only 20% of your constraints will be outside of yourself, contained in other people and situations. To put it another way, it is you personally who is usually the major roadblock that is setting the speed at which you achieve any goal that you set for yourself. For most people, this is hard to accept, but superior people are more concerned with what is right rather than who is right. Superior people are more concerned with the truth of the situation and what they can do to solve the problem than they are with protecting their egos. Ask yourself, what is it in me that is holding me back? Look deep within yourself and identify the key constraints in your personality, temperament, skills, abilities, habits, education, or experience that might be holding you back from achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. Ask the brutal questions. Be completely honest with yourself. The primary obstacles between you and your goals are usually mental. They are psychological and emotional in character. They are within yourself rather than within the situation around you. And it is with these mental obstacles that you must begin if you want to achieve everything that is possible for you. The two major obstacles to success and achievement are fear and doubt. It is first of all the fears of failure, poverty, loss, embarrassment, or rejection that hold the average person back from trying in the first place. This is why the average number of times that a person tries with a new goal is less than 1. As soon as they think of the goal, these fears overwhelm them and, like a bucket of water on a small fire, extinguish their desire completely. The second mental obstacle closely aligned to fear is that of self-doubt. We doubt our own abilities. We compare ourselves unfavorably to others and think that others are somehow better, smarter, and more competent than we are. We think, I'm not good enough. We feel inadequate and inferior to the challenges of achieving the great goals that we so much want to accomplish. Fortunately, if there is anything good about doubt and fear, it is that they are both learned emotions. Children come into the world with no doubts or fears at all, and whatever has been learned can be unlearned through practice and repetition. The primary antidotes to doubt and fear are courage and confidence. The higher your level of courage and confidence, the lower will be your levels of fear and doubt, and the less effect these negative emotions will have on your performance and behavior. The way that you develop courage and confidence is with knowledge and skill. Most fear and doubt arise out of ignorance and feelings of inadequacy of some kind. The more you learn the things you need to know to achieve your goals, the less fear you will feel on the one hand, and the more courage and confidence you will feel on the other. Think about learning to drive for the first time. You were probably extremely tense and nervous and made a lot of mistakes. You may have driven erratically and been a danger to yourself and others. But over time, as you mastered the knowledge and skills of driving, you became better and better, and your confidence increased. Today, you can quite comfortably get into your car and drive across the country with no fear or worry at all. You are so confident at driving that you can do it well without even thinking about it. The same principles apply to any skills you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. Dr. Martin Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania spent more than 25 years studying the phenomenon of what he called learned helplessness. Seligman concluded that more than 80% of the population suffers from learned helplessness to some degree, and occasionally to a very high degree indeed. A person suffering from learned helplessness feels that he or she is incapable of achieving his or her goals or improving his or her life. The most common manifestation of learned helplessness is contained in the words, "I can't." Whenever the victim of learned helplessness is offered an opportunity, possibility, or new goal, he immediately responds by saying, "I can't." He then goes on to give all the reasons why a particular goal or objective is not possible for him. The way you get over this natural tendency to sell yourself short is by setting small goals, making plans, and working on them each day. In this way, you gradually develop greater courage and confidence, like building up a muscle. As you become more confident in yourself and your abilities, you can set even larger goals. Over time, your doubts and fears will weaken, and your courage and confidence will grow and become the dominant force in your thinking. Eventually, with a record of successes behind you, it won't be long before you become unstoppable. The second mental obstacle that you need to overcome is the comfort zone. Many people become complacent with their current situations. They become so comfortable in a particular job, relationship, salary, or level of responsibility that they become reluctant to make any changes at all, even for the better. The comfort zone is a major obstacle to ambition, desire, determination, and accomplishment. People who get stuck in a comfort zone, combined with learned helplessness, are almost impossible to help in any way. Don't let this happen to you. The way that you get out of your comfort zone and break loose from learned helplessness is by setting big, challenging goals. You then break these goals down into specific tasks, set deadlines, and work on them every day. Like an ice floe breaking up in the spring, soon the sluggishness and lethargy of learned helplessness and the comfort zone break up, and you begin moving faster and faster toward accomplishing more and more of what is possible for you. Once you have made a list of all the obstacles that are standing in the way of your achieving your major goals, organize the obstacles by priority. What is the largest single obstacle? If you could wave a magic wand and remove one major obstacle from your path, which one obstacle, if removed, would help you the most in moving ahead more rapidly? Management consultant Ian Mitrov has an interesting set of observations with regard to problem solving and the removal of obstacles. He says that whatever the problem, define it several different ways before you attempt to solve it. Beware of any problem for which there is only one definition or only one solution. When you ask the question with regard to your goal, why am I not there already? What answer comes to mind? What is holding you back? What is standing in your way? It is at this point that you have to drill down to determine the correct obstacle. Before you begin taking steps to remove it, you do this by asking the question, what else could be the problem? After each definition of the problem, you could start off by stating the problem in this way. I'm not earning enough money. What else is the problem? I'm not contributing enough value to be worth more money. What else could be the problem? I'm not good enough at what I do to be capable of getting results that are worth more than I'm earning today. Once you have determined the major obstacle that is holding you back, rewrite that obstacle as a positive goal. For example, you could now say, my goal is to continually upgrade my skills and abilities so that I am in the top 10% of money earners in my field. You then make a list of all the things that you could do to upgrade your knowledge and skills, improve your time management, increase your efficiency and effectiveness, and make more sales for your company. You set deadlines and measures next to each step in your strategy to achieve excellence in your field. You then select one key task and take action on it immediately. From then on, you hold your own feet to the fire. You become your own taskmaster. You discipline and drive yourself to do the things that you need to do to become the kind of person you need to become in order to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. This exercise of identifying what is holding you back and then setting a clear, written goal to remove that obstacle puts you back in control of your own life. By following through on your resolution, you virtually guarantee your ultimate success and the achievement of almost any goal you can set for yourself. If you have any questions or concerns about the accuracy of your problem definition, Discuss it with someone you know and trust. Put your ego aside, invite honest feedback and criticism, and be open to the possibility that you have fundamental flaws and weaknesses that are standing in the way of your realizing your full potential. Be brutally honest with yourself. Once your problem or obstacle is clear to you, ideas, opportunities, and answers will come to you from various sources. You will begin to attract into your life all kinds of resources that will help you to overcome the obstacle or difficulty, either within yourself or within the situation around you, and move you more rapidly toward your goal. Remember the old poem, "For every problem under the sun, there is a solution or there is none." If there is a solution, go and find it. If there isn't, never mind it. For every problem or obstacle that is standing between you and what you want to accomplish, there is a solution of some kind, somewhere. Your job is to be absolutely clear about what sets the speed at which you achieve your goal, and then to focus your time and attention on alleviating that constraint by removing your major obstacle. You will often make more progress in a few months than the average person might make in several years. In my research, I found that self-made millionaires possess a series of qualities. If you have these qualities, your success is virtually guaranteed. And even if you don't currently possess them, the good news is that they can be learned. Firstly, it's important to understand that all business or sales skills are learnable. Similarly, all financial skills can be acquired. Just as you can learn to drive a car, you can learn any skill necessary for success. Now, point number 2. You're probably only one skill away from doubling your income. Yes, it's true. You're likely just one skill away from putting yourself on the path to becoming a self-made millionaire. And if you're not sure what that skill is, perhaps it will become evident as we spend time together. Whatever it may be, you need to identify it and start working on it because it is indeed learnable. Some may say, "I've never been good with money." Well, it's time to change that mindset. The fact is, you can learn whatever you need to achieve your goals. As one of my seminar participants put it, money is like food. When you have enough, you don't think about it. But when you're deprived of it, it consumes your thoughts. More people are achieving financial independence and becoming self-made millionaires at a faster rate than ever before. And the majority of them are first-generation success stories. This means they started with little or nothing and earned their wealth from scratch. The fact that so many others have gone from rags to riches is proof that you can do it too. You just need to learn how. Becoming a self-made millionaire can be relatively simple. For instance, if you save just $100 per month from the age of 20 to 65 and invest it wisely, you could amass a significant sum by the time you retire. Ultimately, the most successful people in society are those who have a long-term perspective. They think and plan decades into the future, organizing their daily activities in alignment with their long-term goals. They think and plan 10, 20, and even 40 years into the future. Then, they organize their daily and weekly activities in such a way that everything they do is consistent with the long-term goals they want to achieve. This is especially true regarding achieving financial independence. Everyone has a series of goals, whether clear or fuzzy. Each of these goals is organized in a hierarchy, consciously or unconsciously, from the most important to the least important. The reason people fail to achieve financial independence is that, although it's a goal, it often isn't their primary goal. It's just one of many goals they think about from time to time. When it's time to act or spend, their other goals, like immediate pleasure and gratification, take precedence. It's only when you elevate the goal of financial independence to the top of your hierarchy of values that you begin to gain control of your financial life. Remember the great principle. You become what you think about most of the time. In thousands of interviews, researchers have found that self-made millionaires think about financial independence most of the time. They organize their entire lives around saving, accumulating, and continually seeking ways to earn, acquire, invest, and deploy their savings. The fact is, you're not going to win the lottery or inherit a large sum of money from a distant relative. The only way to achieve financial independence is with a long-term perspective by consistently saving and investing your money month after month and year after year until you've accumulated enough to never worry about money again. For most people, money represents freedom, one of the highest human values. It enables you to be and do what you want and to buy what you need without worrying about the cost. Freedom is a powerful driving force that has shaped human history. So, what are your personal values regarding money? It's essential to note that negative values concerning money can sabotage you throughout your life. One of the wisest things you can do is to admire, respect, and look up to people who have achieved financial success. You tend to move in the direction of what you admire and respect. The more you admire and respect financial success, the more likely you are to emulate the behaviors of financially successful people and eventually become financially successful yourself. Imagine your financial life was perfect in every respect. Picture your distant financial future as if every financial dream had been realized. What does it look like? Music. How much would you like to be worth when you retire or stop working? What kind of lifestyle would you like to have at that time? How much will you have to save and invest every month, every year, to reach your long-term financial goals? These are questions that most people seldom ask or answer. Imagine that you have no limitations on your long-term ability to achieve financial independence. Imagine that you have all the time and all the resources you require, all the knowledge and experience you need, and all the contacts and opportunities you could ask for. If you could design your financial life to be perfect in every way, with no limitations, what would it look like? Imagine that you have finally achieved a net worth of $10 million. What would you do? How would you change your life if you were completely financially independent? Make up a dream list of every single thing you would want in your life, tangible and intangible, if you had all the money you would ever need. The greater clarity you have regarding your long-term financial future, the faster you will attract the people and resources that you will need to achieve it into your life, and the more rapidly you will realize your vision. In general, you should have 4 financial goals. First, you want to earn as much as you can. Second, you want to spend as little as you can. Third, you want to save and invest as much as possible. Fourth, you want to protect yourself against unexpected reversals and lawsuits. The achievement of each of these goals is very much under your control. Perhaps the best measure you can use if financial independence is your goal is to determine how much money you will need each month, each year, to live comfortably, and then calculate how long you could sustain your current lifestyle on your current savings. This number is called your run rate or your burn rate. It's a calculation of how long you can survive with what you have accumulated up to now, and it's the best measure of your overall financial health. This is a great focal point. Set clear financial goals and targets for each part of your financial life, both for the short term and for the long term. Examine every expenditure in your life and look for ways to reduce your monthly living costs. Set a goal to cut your expenses by 10 or 20% over the next 90 days. Make cost control and cost cutting a regular part of your life, no matter how much you earn. Since you become what you think about most of the time, the more time you spend thinking about your money, the better you will become in terms of managing it. The first knowledge that you will require to achieve financial independence is the knowledge of exactly how much you are earning today, how much you are spending each month, and how much you are worth right now. You should keep a list of every dollar you spend and analyze your list regularly. The more attention you pay to your day-to-day spending, the smarter and more aware you will become regarding the amount of money flowing through your fingers. It's a rule that will virtually guarantee that you become wealthy over the course of your working lifetime. Save and invest 50% of any increase that you earn in your salary or compensation for the rest of your career. You can still spend the other 50% of the increase on improving your standard of living, but resolve today to save half of every increase for the rest of your career. This discipline alone will assure that you achieve financial independence, and probably several years before you expect to. Apply the 80-20 rule to your job every day. Identify the 20% of your tasks that account for 80% of the value of everything you do. Resolve to focus more and more of your attention on becoming better and better at those few activities that are worth more than all the rest. There are certain habits and behaviors that lead inevitably to financial success. The first and most important habit is for you to pay yourself first. As George Clason wrote in his classic book, The Richest Man in Babylon, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. Pay yourself first off the top. Your goal is to eventually save 10% to 20% of your income throughout your life. Your aim should be to put this amount away regularly, to invest it with experts, and to let it grow over time. If you cannot afford to save 10% of your income, begin by saving 1% of your income. Begin saving and investing even before you pay off your debts. Begin putting money away before you pay down the amounts that you owe. This is very important. By developing the habit of saving a certain percentage of what you earn off the top of every single paycheck, you will eventually change your entire attitude towards yourself and money. The most important habit you can develop to achieve financial independence is the habit of frugality. Carefully consider every expense before you make it. If possible, delay a large purchase for a day, a week, a month, or even longer. Take that time to think about it before you commit. Perhaps the most helpful habit of all is for you to learn to enjoy the very act of saving and investing. When you begin to look forward to every opportunity to put money away, you change your entire attitude toward money and investments. You begin to get tremendous pleasure and satisfaction from seeing your savings and investments grow over time. There are 4 activities that you should engage in every single day to guarantee that you achieve financial independence. The first is to carefully evaluate every expenditure before you make it. Delay every expenditure that you possibly can. Put it off until later, if you make it at all. The second thing that you should do is to set clear goals and targets for the amounts that you intend to earn and keep. Measure your results against these targets every week and every month. What gets measured gets done. The third activity is for you to look for ways to reduce your monthly expenditures and instead save the money. Cut out all non-essential expenses. Keep asking yourself, do I really need this? And if you don't buy it or don't spend it. Set it as a goal to reduce your monthly cost of living by as much as you can as quickly as possible. Remember, every dollar that you can save from your monthly expenses is an additional dollar that you can put into your financial freedom account. The fourth activity is for you to take every opportunity that you possibly can to increase your value, to increase your earning ability. Look for ways to upgrade your knowledge and skills. Concentrate on getting better at those activities that contribute the greatest value to yourself and your company. Become totally focused on making more and saving more every single day. Financial success is predictable. It has never been more possible for you to earn and keep more money than it is today. There are hundreds of thousands and even millions of self-made millionaires, all of whom started with nothing and who began using the practices and processes described in this session. Your job is to become one of them. Begin today. Imagine that there are 2 types of work that you do. There's work that we will call work number 1. This work is work that has big potential consequences. If you do this and you do it well, it makes a big difference in your life and your family and everything else. The other type of work you do are what we call number 2 work. This work has no potential consequences. So, the first category of work moves you toward your most important goals faster than anything else. This other type of work does not move you toward your goals, and even worse, it moves you away from your goals. All the examples of time that you waste doing things of no value. Here's a simple way to become one of the highest paid and most productive people in society. You only number 1 tasks. Do only those things that are moving you every day toward the goals that you say you want to achieve. If you only do those things, the things that have great potential consequences, it transforms your life. Now, here's another discovery. 95% of what you do comes from habit. And if you do something repeatedly over and over again, what do you develop? You develop a new habit. You've heard the rule, the 80-20th rule, the Pareto principle, where the top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the sales, and the bottom 80% of salespeople make 20% of the sales. Do you know what the difference, the ratio, is there? The ratio is the difference between 16 to 1. The average income of people in the top 20% is 16 times the average income of the people in the bottom 80%. Now, let me ask you a question. Does it mean that the people in the top 20% are 16 times better than the people in the bottom 80%? 16 times more experienced? Do they work 16 times the number of hours? Do they have 16 times the number of years of education? Are they 16 times more handsome? Are they 16 times anything? You know that it's not humanly possible to be twice as smart as somebody else. I'm not sure if you're looking at very, very unintelligent people and very, very brilliant people, which is really not humanly possible, on average, for us to even be twice as smart as anybody else. But 20% of these people are making 16 times the average in our society. It is a lot of controversy over why should I work so hard for my job. The fact of the matter is that less than 5% really succeed. That's less than 5% of the population really succeeds at life. If I have 100 people working today, only 1 will be wealthy when they retire. 4 will be financially independent. 15 will have some savings. 80% will be broke and dependent upon charities and pensions. Only 1 or 2% of people in each generation really make it in life. And in every single study, those people who make it are those who work hard, hard, hard. And if you think that it's hard to be successful, try being a failure. Try coming to the end of the trail with no money, dependent upon pensions, and you don't know what hard is until you try living like that. But if you work hard, the average self-made millionaire in America works 12 to 13 hours a day, works about 60 to 65 hours a week. I'll tell you this, with regard to hard work, that you in our society only work 8 hours a day for survival. Everything over 8 hours is for success. And if you're only working 8 hours a day, you're in trouble. If you're only working 8 hours a day, you better have a rich uncle, or you better have somebody else who's going to take care of you, because 8 hours a day only gets you survival in our society. Because it's so competitive that somebody else is working 9, they've got an edge on you. Somebody else is working 10, they've got a bigger edge on you. Every hour over 8 that you invest is an investment in your future, is an investment in your success. And if you put in the hours over 8, whether it's studying or reading or working, if you put in the hours, it will pay off. And it will pay off in spades. It's like throwing seed in the ground. When you throw a seed in the ground, the plant that comes up is not just one seed, it's hundreds of seeds. There's a crop that you put in, but you must put the seed in the ground first. The market only pays excellent rewards for excellent performance. It pays average rewards for average performance. It pays below average rewards for below average performance. And I talk to men and women all over America who are unhappy and sad and they don't like their work. And you know why? It's because they're not good at what they're doing. So, your earning ability is the most powerful and most valuable financial asset you have. And your earning ability, by definition, is your ability to get results that people will pay you for. Now, this doesn't mean that you are not a valuable person. Each human being is of incredible value. But some people's earning ability is much higher than others. And your earning ability is an asset. So, it can be either increasing in value or decreasing in value. Now, here's what the studies have found, the 80-20th rule. They found that the bottom 80% of people, the ones who struggle for money and worry about money all their lives, these people, when they take their first job, will work to a certain level and then they will level off and never improve for the rest of their lives unless they're forced to. And so, therefore, 10 years after starting work, the average person today is no more productive at getting results than they were after 1 year. But they find that the people in the top 20% are very different. The people in the bottom 80% increase their income about 2 or 3% per year over the years. The top 20% increase their income at an average of about 11% per year. If your income goes up 11% per year, you will double your income every 6 or 7 years. And then you will double it again, and then you'll double it again, and soon you live in a beautiful house, and you drive a nice car, and you send your children to private schools, and you have a nice bank account, and you'll be happy. But if you don't keep increasing your income, nothing good will happen. Now, what is the difference? The answer is, the people in the bottom 80% don't learn anymore after they leave school. But the people in the top 20% are always learning new things. And as a result, they are increasing their earning ability. People in the top 10% in every field think in terms of their hourly rate, how much they earn each hour. Now, this change in thinking changes your entire life. I know because I've taught this principle to thousands of people who literally transformed their lives and their incomes almost overnight. If you think in terms of how much you earn in a week or a month, well then, you have a natural tendency to waste time during the day. Monday is a slow day. You're recovering from the weekend. Tuesday, you start to work. Wednesday, the week is almost over. Thursday, you start to slow down, and now it's Friday. Who gets anything done on Friday? We'll do it on Monday. So, people's ability to produce drops, and since 80% of the population thinks like this, if you're not careful, you'll find you are surrounded by people who waste time. When you start thinking in terms of your hourly rate, it transforms your life. Poor folks have poor ways. It's really hard to get over poor folks' poor ways. Always remember that poor folks have poor ways. They think poor, they think cheap, they think saving is spending as little as possible, and they think about the little money they have. But you find that successful people have successful thinking. They think very, very differently than poor people. So remember, poor folks have poor ways, but rich folks have rich ways. It's because people who make a lot of money, like my friend Rohn said, the most important part of becoming a millionaire is not the money, But it's the person you have to become a millionaire. You have to become a totally different person to go from zero to being worth more than $1 million. But the good news is that if you lost all of your money because of a crash in the economy or something else, you can make it all back again because now you're the kind of person who can make it. Once you become a millionaire in your thinking, then it's only a matter of time before you quickly restore that amount of money in your reality. So, the starting point is to change our thinking, which we have said over and over again, and I've written extensively on this. But the path of least resistance is a really big killer. It's the tendency to look for the easy way, the fast way, the cheap way, the method of least effort or least cost to achieve things. And what we have in our society today, as a result of several generations of affluence, is an enormous number of people who are literally addicted to the shortcut, the easy way, the fast, quick way. There's an old saying with regard to these get-rich-quick schemes. When a man with experience meets a man with money, the man with money is going to end up with the experience, and the man with experience will end up with the money. So you'll find that the newspapers, magazines, and television are all full of get-rich-quick schemes because there are always people who think it's possible to get rich quick, get rich easy. All you have to do is find a trick or a gimmick. And there's an enormous number of people who say, rich people are just lucky. They just had a gimmick, they just had a trick. The fact is that the rich have been studied at great length. It takes about 22 years from the time you decide to become a millionaire before you hit $1 million net worth. I think it's about 22 years on average, based on the studies of many thousands and tens of thousands of self-made millionaires. People say, wow, that's a long time. If it is, get on with it. So people start at 20, by the age of 42, they're millionaires. By the age of 45, they're dual millionaires. By the age of 50 or 55, because, as we say, the first million is hard, the second million is inevitable. So, what you do is you have to make the first million. Why? Because you have to become a very different, disciplined, higher form of human being to actually make such a contribution that you actually earn and hold on to more than $1 million. It forces you to become somebody really different than you've ever been before. Financial freedom is a real big issue today. Financial freedom means that you don't worry about money. Worries about money, by the way, are the #1 reason for marital breakdown. Worries, disagreements, arguments over money. So if you have problems with money, they affect your relationship. If you have problems in your relationship, they affect your health. If you have problems with your health, it affects your peace of mind. And money is a major issue. We've been living through the most affluent country in the most affluent time in all of human history for the last 50 years. We've grown up in a level of affluence that is unimaginable for 95% of the world. And we have come to believe that this is what we're entitled to. You grow up in America, you're entitled to a fat life. One of the things that is leading to major social disruptions is a lot of people are finding that it's not true anymore. If you want to be financially successful, you won't have to work very, very hard. You're going to have to get up early and hit it hard and work all day and work into the evening. You're going to have to work 6 days a week. There's no wealthy people who work 5 days a week. None. There's no successful people who work 5 days a week because if you work 5 days a week, you actually only work about 4. And you start late, you leave early, and you waste time all day long. Successful people work long days and they work into the weekends. However, they're doing something they enjoy, and they're doing something they get tremendous satisfaction from because they're making progress. And as a result, it's really not work. You know the old rule, I found something I love to do, and I never worked again the rest of my life. I worked 7 days a week, but I never worked a day. And you'll find that when you do that, which you will before we're finished, when you start to find what it is that you would love to do and put your whole heart into it, you never work again. And you get paid more than you ever dreamed of. And you don't even care. You don't even count the money anymore because you're just getting so much satisfaction from using yourself at the very highest level. So financial freedom, this is something we people have to start thinking about. The worst thing you can do today is to be in debt. As you know, as they say, the debt comes and goes, but the interest payments stay forever. And it's the interest that kills you. It's the constant payment. Look at that. So one of our goals is to achieve financial freedom. And this isn't something that happens by accident. We don't say, well, geez, I'm not sure I'm financially free this morning. No, but what we have to do is we have to set it down and make a plan, and we have to work on it for a long, long time. It's not something you can do once. It's something you need to do throughout your career. And too many people today are deeply in debt. You know that 70% of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck? 70% of Americans. What that means is that they have no money, they have no reserves. The average American family at the age of 40, for the major breadwinner, has a total net worth of about $40,000. And that's including the equity in their home. At the age of 60, they have a net worth of about $62,000. An average of about $1,000 a year. Most people without pensions, that's why there's so much political controversy. Without pensions, most people would be destitute, they'd be impoverished because they have nothing. 70% have nothing. Why? It's not because they haven't earned a lot of money. You know that if you save $100 a month for your entire working lifetime, you'd be worth more than $1 million when you retire? $100 a month? If somebody put a gun to your head, could you save $100 a month? Well, it does. And people don't even save that. They spend it. They buy stuff they don't need to impress people they don't like. So here's where we start with our entrepreneurs. We say there are 4 keys. One is to clarify. Clarity is 95% of your success. Be absolutely clear about who you are, what you want, and your goals. Second is to simplify. Simplify means to delegate, outsource, and eliminate low-value, no-value tasks and activities in your life. In other words, look at the things you do in your life that contribute very little to your success, but you keep doing them anyway. And you'll find that about 80% of your life is trivia. Remember the 80-20 rule. 20% of what you do accounts for 80% of your results, success, rewards, satisfaction, happiness, joy. Everything is in the top 20%, which means the bottom 80% could be cut out completely and have no negative effect on your life. What do most people spend most of their time on? Bottom 80%. You know, television watching. Since the last time we did this seminar just a few months ago, at that time it was 150 hours a month for the average adult in America. It's up to 158 hours in less than a year. Average Americans watching 5.5 to 6 hours, jumping up over 5 hours of television per day. Average non-adult, what is on social media, 5 hours a day. Television watching, by the way, for young people is dropping dramatically. The networks are going bonkers. But it's older people who are not high-tech. They watch television 5 hours a day. Just imagine if you took 2 of those hours and you read something worthwhile. You'd be rich in a few years. Television makes you poor. They did an interesting study. They took people, socioeconomic categories, Wall Street Journal. They found as you went down the socioeconomic categories to the poorest of the poor, they had no books in their homes and the biggest televisions they could afford. As you went up to the top, and they watched about 7 hours of television a day. As the band began to go up in terms of income, television watching decreased until they got to the top 5 or 10%. These people, it's very seldom watch television. They would pre-record something and watch it at their leisure later on in the evenings or on the weekends. Very seldom watch television, and their homes were full of books. So if you wanted to get into the top 10%, what you do is you have to do things that the top 10% of people do. Thank you. The rules for achieving financial independence are simple. Rule number 1 is spend less than you earn. 5 words, and then save or invest the difference. This has always been the case. This is the key to financial success going back to The Richest Man in Babylon by Clayson more than 2,000 years ago. You can be a blithering idiot at an average job, working at a gas station or on the farm, or driving a truck at an average wage. But if you save $100 a month on average from age 20 to age 65 and let it accumulate, you'll be worth more than $1 million. $100 a month, $25 a week, or less than $4 a day. About the same amount as mine, will latte coffee at Starbucks. Can you do that? Okay, we'll do lots of other things, but do that for sure. Now rule number 2 for achieving financial independence is that 10% of every dollar you earn is yours to keep. What this means is that you need to develop a habit from the beginning of your career and throughout of cutting 10% off the top of your salary and living on the other 90%. Most people get their paycheck and they spend most of it. If there's anything left over, they throw it in the bank temporarily, and then they grab it out and spend it on something else. They look at their bank account and shout, "Gee, we've got money here. Let's burn it." Some people have just got to get rid of the money. Rule number 3 is resolve in advance to prefer financial independence to status. The work in The Millionaire Next Door found that the mark of self-made millionaires is that they weren't concerned about impressing the neighbors or keeping up with the Joneses. They were more concerned with financial independence than by looking good on the outside, at least until they became wealthy. So say to yourself, financial independence is number 1 to me, and status is number 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. Then be willing to stick to it. It's absolutely amazing what will happen to you financially. Do you know what we found out about self-made millionaires? They never buy new cars. Why? Because in a new car, there's several $1,000s of depreciation. That's money that you lose the minute you drive it off the line. So what self-made millionaires do, based on interviews with thousands of them, is they pick a car they really like. They follow it in Consumer Reports and J.D. Power for quality and service. And then about 2 to 3 years out, they look for used models with low mileage and good service records. And then they buy a car that 20 to 25% in depreciation has already been taken out of. I've worked with a man once who started with nothing and achieved a net worth of $800 million. Now, he lived in a nice, middle-class neighborhood, with doctors and lawyers and architects, but not ostentatious. But the people living on either side of him were just 2 paychecks away from homelessness. If their income was cut off for 2 months, they wouldn't be able to make their mortgage payments. I watched this guy. He drove the same used car for 3 or 4 years. He liked Cadillac. Do you get a nice Cadillac, take good care of it, then you get another used or loaner vehicle from a dealership so that it had already been depreciated. He was never ostentatious at all, and he ended up one of the richest men in America. When you met him, he'd be wearing an old sweater. He didn't have a huge wardrobe or the same suits to meetings. And he had no bills at all. But when he wanted to go somewhere, he'd fly in his private $25 million jet all by himself. Now, back to the last rule for achieving financial independence. Rule number 4 is once you put the money away, never touch it. Now, this is important. So if you're writing it down, write it in red. You see, many of us make the mistake of thinking that if you save money, you put that money away so you can have it. It's fun money. So when you decide, I want to buy a car, I want to go on a trip, I want a boat, I want a motorhome, you go and you get this money that you save. However, if you want to spend money on those things, set up a separate savings account. This money is for your financial security. This is your financial freedom fund. Once you put money into this financial freedom account, you lock it in like a one-way door. It goes in and it never comes out. You'll never spend it. I can tell you all kinds of stories about how this will change your life, including in my life. Please believe me, once you put it away and decide that you will never spend it, as far as you're concerned, it's gone forever. I personally will do whatever is necessary, no matter what my financial emergency is, to not touch my financial fortress. Never touch it, because if you even think for a tiny glimmer that you can get it if you need it, then you'll find yourself needing it at the first opportunity. So, the key to financial success is to pay yourself first. Save 10% off of your account. Buy used things rather than new, and once you put money away, never touch it. Put it away and let it stay there until it accumulates and enables you to do anything you want in life. Today in America, it's a little different because of the state of the economy. And, of course, if you really bought low and sold high, but very few of us did that. Make 10 to 20% per year after taxes and expenses in terms of growing your net worth is a pretty good goal, and it's ultimately achievable. So, write down 5 figures representing your target net worth over the next 5 years. It seems remarkable, but the fact is that the starting point of increasing your income or your net worth is very simple. Can you guess what it is? Decide to do it. Make a decision to become financially independent. You say, well, it's not that simple. Well, it is that simple. It's just not easy. But it is simple. The primary reason that people don't succeed in life financially is because they never decide to, and then back up that decision with determination. Now, there are a lot of things you can do after you've made a decision, but there are very few things you can do before making a decision or without making a decision at all. So, make that decision. Your decision may be wrong or it may be inaccurate, but at least it's a great starting point. It's like drawing a line in the ground to step over. And what if I don't get it by such and such a date? Don't worry about it. At least get it on paper and take the first step. Once upon a time, when I started my career, I sat down at the end of the year and my tax returns were $14,400. 12 years later, I sat down and did my tax returns, and my tax returns were $1,440,000. I'd increased my income by 100 times in 12 years. And I went back and I started to look at that. And I realized that I'd used a formula which I gradually articulated into what I called the 1000% formula. And it's very simple. It's based on the law of incremental improvement. Japanese call it the Kaizen principle. The principle of continuous betterment. Getting a little bit better every day. So I asked the question, if you could increase your productivity, performance, and output by 0.1% per day, could you do that? Could you increase your productivity, performance, and output by 1/1000th in a day? And the answer is, of course, if you're even a tiny bit more efficient or you work a little bit harder on a more important task, you could become 0.1% better in a day. Well, if you did that every single day for a week, you would be 0.1% times 5. You'd be 0.5% more productive in a week. Is that possible? Of course, you would say. Anybody can become that small amount more productive. So, I said, if you did that every week for 4 weeks, you'd be 2% more productive over the course of a month. If you did that every day for 13 4-week months in a year, 52 weeks, you would be 26% more productive. Is that possible? And the answer is yes, because there is a thing in success called the momentum principle. That means that once you start going, it becomes easier and easier to keep going and to go faster and faster. So, once you've become 26% more productive in the course of a year, your overall output, your results, your income will go up by 26%. What happens is you start to get into the swing of it. You start to be more effective, more efficient, and get more things done. You start earlier, you work harder, you stay later, you set better priorities, and so on. So, if you do this 26% each year for 10 years, you'll be 1004% better. And this is what happened to me, and it's happened to every single person I've ever worked with. Not long ago, I was in Seattle, and this young man came up to me. He's about 30. I met him when he was about 22. He was working in a used car lot in a small town outside of Portland. And his name is Chris. And he came up and he said, "Mr. Tracy, do you remember me?" I said, "Yes, it's a nice guy, great personality." He said, "Well, you know the 1000% formula that you taught me many years ago?" I said, "Well, of course, I remember because I've taught it to so many people." He said, "Brian, it doesn't work." I said, "It doesn't work?" He said, "It doesn't work." I said, "I've used it every single day ever since you taught it to me all those years ago." He said, "It doesn't work." I said, "How do you mean?" And he made me smile. And he said, "It doesn't take 10 years, it only took me 7. He said, "Today, I am earning 10 times what I was earning 7 years ago." He said, "I used it every day. It's absolutely amazing." He said, "I'm making more money today in a week or a month than I was often making in a month or a year." He said, "By using that formula." And what I did personally is I used it once, increased my income 10 times. And then I used it again and increased my income 10 times more, 100 times in 12 years. And so can you. There are 2 great principles of wealth attainment, and they're both equally important to understand and implement in order to be successful and acquire wealth. The first principle of wealth creation is to make compound interest work in your favor. Einstein said that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. Get that money in there and get it working for you. Peter Lynch of Magellan said that it's not time in the market that makes you rich. It's time in the market that makes you rich. Remember, if you invested $1 at 3% at the time of Christ, you'd be worth all the money in the world today with compound interest. Compound interest is phenomenal. So, make it work in your favor by getting the money in there early and leaving it there to work. The second principle of wealth creation is to use dollar cost averaging. When you buy stocks, don't worry about being right every time or getting the lowest price when you buy. It doesn't really matter unless, of course, stocks are overpriced at the end of a boom. But if you invest a steady amount of money every week, or every month, or every year, you'll end up buying things at the average price. The prices will go up and down, but you'll end up buying them high, buying them low, buying them average. And over time, you'll get the very best average deal. Dollar cost averaging is one of the great techniques for financial success. Now, here's an example of dollar cost averaging, investing steady, year after year. I have a good friend who came over here as an immigrant at the age of 17, couldn't even speak English. So, he began to learn English, and when he was 20 years old, he could speak enough English to begin studying financial success and going to college. Well, I had dinner with him not long ago. He has a 4-acre property and a 16,000 square foot home in a beautiful community on the East Coast. He's worth millions of dollars today. He owns banks, shopping centers, and national corporations. Here's what happened. When he was 20, someone told him that real estate is the key to financial success. They're not making any more of it. You should own real estate. Well, he never thought about that, and at that time, he was a student and didn't have very much money. But he was working evenings and weekends to pay for his needs, which is what they used to do in those days. So, he decided he would buy one piece of property each year. His first piece of property was in a small community outside of town, and it was a lot, and it cost $25 a month to service it. He had to sweat bullets to make those monthly payments. But his goal was to buy one piece of property a year, and he kept on doing it. He's now 49 years old. The last piece of property he bought last year was a $225 million shopping center. He still buys one property a year, only now they're much, much bigger. The skill and experience and discipline that he developed over time in buying those properties, which got bigger and bigger, made him a millionaire and then a multimillionaire. So, what's your excuse? What's our excuse? We're surrounded by hundreds, thousands, even millions of these stories. What is our excuse? It's always one thing. What is it? It's lack of discipline. So, remember, the two great principles of wealth creation are making compound interest work for you by getting the money in there and working, and using dollar cost averaging, whether it's buying stocks or real estate. Next is to maximize. Determine your special talents, abilities, and strengths, and focus on developing them to a higher level. And then multiply. Leverage yourself in your business with other people's customers, other people's knowledge, other people's abilities, other people's efforts, other people's money, and other people's resources. You've heard the old saying, it takes money to make money. Yes, that's true, but it doesn't have to be your money. It could be somebody else's money. And all successful people have developed the ability to call on the money of others. Why? It's because they do good work, they do good planning, and they take good care of their money, and people line up to give them more. There's now trillions of dollars of money waiting. I have a good friend, one of my business partners, multi-millionaire, started with nothing. There was tens of millions of dollars, and he's sitting on a pool of money that he keeps at very low levels of interest. He said, I can't find a place to put it, and I will not put it until I find a place. If somebody could come along with any kind of a business proposition where the person has credibility and a track record and has a good business proposition, there's more money available than you can dream of. The money is there in torrents. It's like tsunamis of money that are available. So, that's why you're reading the paper. You read such and such company just paid $1.8 billion, or 2.6, or 9.9, or Google just offered Groupon $6 billion cash for their business. There's lots of money for good business ideas. But it doesn't have to be your money. It can be somebody else's money. And your ability to attract that money and to justify it is really important. Strategic planning is an essential part of the success formula. Your ability to create a clear and organized strategic plan will largely contribute to your success and wealth. In fact, it's virtually impossible to succeed greatly unless you have a clear idea of where you're going and how to get there. So, here are 3 key factors to remember when devising a strategic plan. Number 1. You are in business for yourself. This means that everything that is ever going to happen to your personal success corporation, your personal business, is up to you. No one else can be expected to do it for you. Now, here's a perverse law. The more that you accept that you are responsible for doing whatever it is, the more others will line up to help you. So, therefore, you say these words. If it's to be, it's up to me. Number 2. Your aim in strategic planning is to increase your return on energy. We call this ROE. Now, the purpose of strategic planning in business is to increase return on equity, ROE, return on capital working in the organization. But your capital is mental, emotional, and human. Your job is to get the most out of your mental, emotional, and intellectual capital. Your job is to get the highest return on the amount of your life invested in your work. Number 3. Successful individuals also have good personal strategic plans. Because a good strategic plan assures that you will get the highest return on the amount of energy that you invest in anything you do. In this sense, you can achieve success by sitting quietly in contemplation, rather than constantly pursuing external accomplishments. Achievement is considerably different from mere accomplishment. It refers to obtaining what you truly desire, rather than settling for what you happen to get. Achievement means having the ability to set clear goals, make detailed plans of action, and then implement those plans, overcoming obstacles and adversity to attain the ends you have set for yourself. The laws of success apply equally well to achievement, but in addition, there are a series of laws specific to goal attainment, which we'll describe in this session. The basic rule of human action is that everything you do is aimed at improving your life in some way. Every action is guided by purpose and intention, whether clear or unclear. Your mind and abilities enable you to achieve the goals you set for yourself. Whether your goal is small, like returning home to watch television, or large, such as achieving financial success and prestige, your mind contains a goal-seeking function that drives you towards your ideals. The challenge lies in setting clear goals and channeling your mental and physical energy towards them. When you learn to do this, achievement seems to happen almost automatically. However, the setting of clear goals and harnessing your energy behind them is essential for success. As mentioned in the first session, the application of these laws begins with becoming perfectly clear about your desired outcome. You need to determine where you want to end up and create a written plan of action for achieving each of those things. Unfortunately, studies show that fewer than 3% of adults have clear, written goals and detailed plans. However, people with written goals accomplish 10 times as much as those with no written goals at all. In my seminars, I often encourage participants to write down 10 things they want to achieve in the next 12 months. This simple exercise often leads to remarkable results. For example, an insurance executive attending one of my seminars made a list of 10 goals and was astonished to find that he had already accomplished 5 of them within a few days. Aside from clarity regarding your goals, there are 12 laws you need to know and practice for high achievement. The first law is the law of control, which states that you feel positive about yourself to the degree to which you feel in control of your own life. Control is critical for success, as it allows you to direct the course of change and ensures that it aligns with your desires. The second law is the law of responsibility, which asserts that you are completely responsible for everything you are, have, and become. Responsibility begins with taking full control of your thoughts and actions. No one is coming to the rescue. If things are going to improve, it's up to you. To achieve success, you must first decide exactly what you want in life. Make a dream list of everything you could ever want to have, be, or do, without limitations. Then, prioritize your goals and transfer them to a separate sheet of paper. This exercise helps you clarify your desires and motivates you to take action towards achieving them. Here's the corrected version. Go back over these goals and organize them by writing A1 next to the most important goal, A2 next to the second most important goal, A3 next to the third most important goal, and so on until you've organized all of your goals in order of importance to you. Your 1 goal should be your major definite purpose, the most important single goal in your life. All really successful men and women have goals in each important part of their lives. But they also have one goal, which is their umbrella goal, the single most important thing they are working on at any given time. In looking at your goals, it's advisable for you to divide them into 3 categories as well. The first category is your personal and family goals. These are the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. It's very important for you to be crystal clear about the underlying reasons why you want the material and intangible goals that you're working for. Many people get sidetracked working for material things and lose sight of the reasons why they're doing it. Your second set of goals are your career and material goals. These are the what of your goal list. These are the things that you had to do in order to get to the why. The what are business and financial goals on your list, such as career achievements, amounts of financial income, quantities of sales or profits. They're the money and the things of your life. Your third type of goals are your personal development goals. These are the how goals. These are the things that you must do or become competent at doing in order to achieve the material goals, which will lead you to the accomplishment of your personal and family goals. You need to have a set of goals in each of these areas for your life to be in balance and for you to perform at your very best. Once you've taken your original list of goals and broken it down by A's, B's, and C's, and then transferred your A's onto a single page and organized them in order of priority, you're now ready to begin the planning stage. In the planning stage, you take a clean sheet of paper and you write your A1 goal at the top of the page in the present tense as though it were already a reality. For example, you could write, I earn $50,000 per year now. You use what we call the 20 idea method and write down a list of 20 things that you could do that would help you move toward the attainment of that goal. Write down everything you can think of. For example, you could write down, I could work harder and smarter in my current field and increase my productivity and income. You could also write down, I could upgrade my skills so that the value of my work was higher in the same period of time. Or you could write something completely different, such as, I could change my career or company completely and start a different job or in a different industry. In any case, write down at least 20 activities that you could engage in to help you achieve your goal. Once you've done that, do the same thing for each of your other goals so that you have a series of goals with a list of 20 activities or more that you could engage in to accomplish each one. Sit down with your first list of 20 items under your one most important goal and organize those items by time and priority. Which are the things which you can do or should do or begin first? What are the things that are most important and would make the greatest difference to the attainment of the goal? Write down an A, B, or C next to each of the 20 items, and then write down a 1, 2, 3 for A items and 1, 2, 3 for B items, and so on, next to the items so that you have organized them from beginning to end. You now have a list of your most important goals organized by priority and a list of the activities you must engage in to achieve those goals, also organized by priority. Your final exercise is to merge your major goals and your major activities into a single plan, and then to begin to organize your day-to-day life around that plan. It's important that you review this plan on a regular basis. One of the most motivational things that you can do is to make a resolution to do something every day to move yourself toward the attainment of one of your most important goals. This will help you to develop and maintain momentum, and you'll be astonished at how rapidly you begin to make progress on even the largest and most challenging goals that you can think of using this method. Once you've made a list of your goals, the third law of achievement is the law of compensation. This law says that you are always fully compensated for whatever you do. It's often called the law of reciprocity, which says that people will always reciprocate in kind for whatever you do either to or for them. My friend Zig Ziglar, the great speaker and motivator, has formulated what we might call Ziglar's law, which is a paraphrase of the law of compensation, and it says, you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. The law of compensation is a subset of the law of cause and effect, or the law of sowing and reaping, which says, whatsoever a man saith, that also shall he reap. Basically, the law of compensation says that whatever you put in, you get out. You cannot reap it unless you have sown it in advance. In fact, you can say that whatever you're reaping today is a measure of what you've sown in the past. If you want to reap something more in the future, you have to sow something more or different or better in the present. It's completely up to you. In Ralph Waldo Emerson's wonderful essay Compensation, which is one of the finest pieces of writing in the English language, he says that the longer you put in without getting out, the greater will be your return when it finally comes. Some years ago, the Kingston Trio had a song with a line that said, you've got to prime the pump. You must have faith and believe. You've got to give of yourself before you're willing to receive. This law or principle runs throughout all of human history and is virtually inviolate. This leads us to the fourth law of achievement, the law of service, which says that your rewards in life will always be in direct proportion to the value of your service to others. The first part of this law is that all fortunes begin with the sale of personal services. The second part of this law is that if you wish to increase the size of your rewards, you must increase the quality and quantity of your service. The third part of the law of service is everyone works on commission. Tom Peters, in his book, In Search of Excellence, says that the top managers and the leading companies all seem to have an obsession with customer service. The most successful men and women in our society are those who are able to lose themselves in serving the people who depend upon them, their customers, their employers, and others. When you combine the laws of compensation and of service, you have the key to obtaining anything that you really want. You'll get out exactly what you put in, and wonderfully enough, you have complete control over what you put in. When you devote yourself completely to serving your customers, your boss, your staff, and the people who purchase or use your products and services, it gives you a tremendous feeling of meaning and purpose. It causes you to feel that you are really making a difference in the world. The fifth law of achievement is the law of applied effort. This law simply says that all things are amenable to hard work. There's nothing that will bring you to the attention of your superiors faster than you're developing a reputation for being a hard worker. People who are in a position to help you and accelerate your career will tend to be very impressed by your willingness to work harder and longer than anyone else. In Dr. Thomas Stanley's study of affluent Americans, almost every one of the self-made millionaires he interviewed told him that their success was due more to hard work than to any other factor. In America, you work 40 hours per week for survival. If all you work is 40 hours, all you get is enough money to survive. You tread water and you basically stay even, but you don't get very far ahead and you never achieve the kind of success that is possible for you. However, every hour over 40 hours that you put in either on your job or on yourself improving your knowledge and skills is an investment in your success. You can tell where you're going to be in 3 to 5 years with unerring accuracy by simply looking at the number of hours over 40 that you're working each week. The average work week for both executives and small business owners in America is approximately 58 to 59 hours. Many successful men and women find themselves working 70 and even 80 hours a week during the critical formative stages of their careers. In addition to the law of applied effort, is that all great success is preceded by a long period of hard work in a single direction toward a clearly defined purpose. You need to continually ask yourself, what am I trying to do and how am I trying to do it? It's not enough just to work hard or to work long hours. You must be working on high value added tasks and activities toward the accomplishment of meaningful and important goals. A second part of this law is that the harder you work, the luckier you get. It seems that your ability to work hard will open up the Red Sea of opportunity for you and will bring to your assistance all manner of people and resources that you could not have imagined would come your way. The third part of the law of applied effort is that to achieve more than the average, you must work longer and harder than the average. This is simply a way of restating the fact that you can only take more out of life if you're putting more into life, and the more you put in, the more you'll get out. The law of cause and effect is absolute. You will invariably reap what you sow, and if you sow more, you'll eventually reap more. The sixth law of achievement is the law of overcompensation. This is a companion law to the law of applied effort, and it simply says that you must be continually looking for opportunities to go beyond the requirements of your job. Napoleon Hill, perhaps the foremost researcher on success in the first half of the 20th century, concluded that one of the keys to great success in America was the willingness to go the extra mile. He wrote that because of this principle, your future potential is unlimited because there's no restriction whatsoever on the extra things that you can do to add greater value to your work. You can go the extra mile in everything that you do every day and in every way. You can always be looking for opportunities to exceed expectations. Earl Nightingale advised that you should always put in more than you take out, or you'll never take out more than you're getting right now. The only way that you can be paid more is by putting greater value into your work and achieving greater results. Another way of stating the law of overcompensation is that you must always do more than you're paid for if you ever want to be paid for more than you're doing. A young woman who is working as a secretary for a large company in Florida came to me at a seminar recently and told me her story. She said that she'd listened to one of my audio tapes and as a result, she had set a goal to increase her income by 50%. In her heart, she said she didn't really believe it was possible because of the salary structure in her company. Nonetheless, she went to work to increase the value of her service to her boss. She applied the law of overcompensation to everything she did. She learned how to do new things and she began a little earlier and stayed a little later. To make a long story short, within 6 months, her boss had quietly raised her salary in stages from $1,500 per month to $2,250 per month and had given her these increases without her ever having asked for them. All she did was to concentrate on seeking out ways to work harder and smarter and to serve her boss better with the things he needed. He automatically increased her pay because he recognized how much she had increased her value to him. The remarkable thing is this. She worked up to the age of 25 to get her salary up to $1,500 per month in just 6 months. However, by applying these principles, she increased her salary by 50%, and so can you. It is simply a matter of applying these laws to your work on a daily basis. Your thoughts and feelings about yourself and what you can do or not do are the sum total result of a lifetime of experience and conditioning, and usually have little relationship to what is truly possible for you. In personal development, there is a principle or a law of becoming that simply says that each person is in a continual process of evolving and growing in the direction of their dominant thoughts. Your body is also in a state of becoming, with a normal rate of cell death and replenishment. You essentially have a brand new body every 7 years. Whereas your physical evolution is affected by the food you consume, your mental evolution and becoming are largely determined by the thoughts you feed your mind. The law of concentration says that anything you dwell upon grows in your reality. Thoughts you think about long enough and hard enough eventually become a part of your mental processes, exerting their influence and power on your attitude and behavior. If you constantly think thoughts of boldness, courage, and self-assertion, you become progressively bolder and more self-assured. Similarly, if you dwell on the person you would like to become with the qualities you aspire to have, you implant those deeply into your subconscious mind, where they become part of your ongoing evolution. What you habitually think about eventually becomes a part of your character and personality. You are essentially a self-made individual, shaped by the thoughts you have allowed to preoccupy your mind. However, for most people, thinking the thoughts they would like to think about to become the person they aspire to be is too big a leap. Many continue to think and talk about exactly what they don't want to happen, only to be constantly amazed when exactly what they were hoping to avoid happens to them again and again. One of the most profound discoveries in human history is that thought is creative. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, like baguettes like. Your thoughts become your realities. You become what you think about most of the time. You cannot harbor one kind of thought and experience a different kind of existence. This law of cause and effect works perfectly everywhere and always for everyone. Developing unshakable self-confidence begins with taking full, complete, systematic, and purposeful control over the contents of your conscious mind. Discipline yourself to think consistently about only the things that you desire and to resolutely keep your mind off the things that you fear. All of life is from the inside out. Your outer world will be a reflection of your inner world. True happiness and success come from living your life in harmony with the laws that govern your being, even though these laws are invisible. Just like the law of gravity, which is also invisible but to be violated only at your own peril. Happy people are those who obey and follow the laws of nature and live their lives consistent with those laws. If you want to enjoy self-confidence on the outside, you must practice complete integrity on the inside. The foundation of self-confidence is living your life consistent with your innermost values and principles, while thinking and acting in harmony with your highest aspirations. Men and women with the most rock-solid self-confidence are those who are absolutely clear about what they believe to be right and good and who live their lives consistent with these values. Your true values are only expressed in your actions. You can tell what you truly believe by observing what you do, especially in situations where you had to make a choice under stress. Your choices of actions tell you unerringly who you really are. This brings us to the little-known mental principle called the law of reversibility, which says that actions consistent with particular values or beliefs actually lead to the thoughts and feelings that would have triggered the actions. The keys to developing unshakable self-confidence are self-control, self-mastery, and self-discipline. Self-confidence can come directly by behaving in a self-confident manner, but it comes more often indirectly by doing and saying the things that lead to self-confidence. And the most important self-development behavior is living consistently with your highest values at every opportunity. Each time you do this, you will feel positive and happy about yourself, and your behaviors will further crystallize in your personality, making you an exceptional human being in the process of becoming. The sun has not yet kissed the horizon. The world is still, and there's a quiet that envelops everything. It's at this moment, this very second, that champions are made. Not in the glaring light of day, but in the serene embrace of the dawn. This is where our journey begins, with a simple yet profound decision to wake up and grind. You see, life, in its infinite complexity, offers us a canvas, but it hands us the brush only when we decide to take it. Every stroke, every color we choose, starts with the resolve to get up and paint our masterpiece. It's about embracing the moment when the alarm clock sounds, not as a siren of annoyance, but as a trumpet call to greatness. This isn't about just moving through the motions. It's about seizing the day with a purpose that burns so fiercely within us, guiding every action, every decision. But what drives a person to leap out of bed, ready to tackle the challenges that await? It's vision, but clear, compelling vision of who they want to be, what they wish to achieve. Picture yourself 5, 10 years from now. What do you see? Is it a reflection filled with achievements, growth, and fulfillment? Or is it clouded by what could have been? The difference lies in what we do in those early hours when the world is yet to awaken. Let me share a secret with you, one that successful people around the globe have whispered for generations. The grind, the relentless pursuit of excellence, starts with a single decision to make the most of each day. It's a commitment not just to be better than we were yesterday, but to pave a path toward a future we've always dreamed of. This isn't about chasing the fleeting shadows of success. It's about building a legacy brick by brick with our sweat, our resilience, and our unwavering determination. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I willing to do today to draw one step closer to my dreams? It's a simple question, yet it holds the power to transform your life. It's not about monumental leaps, but the small, consistent steps we take every day. And it begins now, in this moment, with the courage to push beyond our limits, to challenge the status quo, and to carve out our destiny with the choices we make. Remember, the road to greatness is paved with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But it's also lined with victories, learning, and growth. It requires a heart that's brave enough to start and strong enough to persevere. A mind that's sharp and eager to learn, and a spirit that's resilient, ready to rise time and time again. So, let this morning be different. Let it be the start of something extraordinary, where you decide to wake up and grind, to step into the arena of your dreams armed with nothing but your passion, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to excellence. Today is your day to shine, to show the world the strength of your resolve and the depth of your desire to achieve greatness. The brilliance of a new day offers more than just light. It provides clarity, illuminating the vast landscape of possibilities that lie ahead of us. This clarity isn't just about seeing, it's about envisioning, about crafting a vision so vivid, so compelling, it propels us forward with an unstoppable momentum. It's here, in the quiet dawn of possibility, where defining your vision becomes not just a task, but a mission. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, the path before you veiled in mist. Each path represents a choice, a direction your life could take. Now, picture the sun's rays piercing through the fog, revealing the golden path that leads you to your dreams. This is the power of a clear vision. It dispels doubt, lights up your path, and guides your steps with purpose and intention. Your vision, my friends, is more than a dream. It's a beacon that guides you through the stormiest seas, the compass when you find yourself lost in the wilderness of life. But how, you might ask, do we forge this vision? It starts with the courage to ask yourself not just what you want, but who you want to be. It's about looking beyond the horizon, beyond the immediate gratifications, to what truly sets your soul on fire. Crafting your vision is akin to painting on the canvas of tomorrow. Each brushstroke represents your hopes, your values, your aspirations. Begin with broad strokes, outlining the grand picture of your life. Where are you? Who's by your side? What fills your days? Don't just scratch the surface, dive deep. Peel back the layers of your heart and soul and discover the dreams that lie dormant, waiting for your courage to awaken them. Now, refine your vision. Add color, depth, and detail. If you see yourself as a leader, what kind? If you envision a life of adventure, where does it take you? This isn't about vague wishes. It's about crystal clear, vibrant visions that stir your heart every time you close your eyes. Write them down, not as fleeting thoughts, but as declarations of your future. This act alone moves them from the ethereal realm of imagination into the tangible world of possibility. A vision without action is like a star without light, beautiful but distant and cold. Herein lies our challenge and our promise, to breathe life into our vision every day. It means waking up with determination, going to bed with satisfaction, and filling every moment in between with the relentless pursuit of that golden path we've envisioned. It's a commitment to turn every obstacle into a stepping stone, every setback into a lesson, and every success into a milestone. Remember, the fabric of your vision will be tested. You'll face doubts, fears, and countless trials. But it's in these moments, when the path seems darkest, that your vision shines brightest. Hold it close, like a torch in the night, guiding you step by step towards the dawn of your fulfillment. And so, as we embrace the grind, do so with a vision that burns so brightly it cannot be ignored. A vision that doesn't just call to you, but roars with the force of your entire being behind it. This is the start, a journey not just towards achieving goals, but towards living a life of purpose and passion. A journey that we embark on not just with the dream of what we'll achieve, but with a clearer vision of who we'll become in the process. Our next step takes us into the heart of transforming our vision into reality. Imagine for a moment that each goal you set is like a lighthouse, guiding you through the fog towards your destined shore. The power of goal setting is not just in defining what we aim to achieve, but in illuminating the path that leads us there. It's about turning the intangible into the tangible, the dream into the achievable. Explore how setting precise, actionable goals can be the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Consider the story of a young artist, passionate and driven yet adrift in the vast sea of creativity without direction. It was not until she learned to set clear goals for her art, specific exhibitions to participate in, a number of paintings to complete, a style to master, that her path became clear. With each goal she set and met, she not only moved closer to her vision but also built the confidence and skills necessary for her journey. This is the essence of goal setting. It's not merely about achieving outcomes, but about who we become in the process. Setting goals is akin to planting seeds in a garden. Each seed represents a goal, a future achievement that lies dormant, awaiting our effort and care to grow. But it is not enough to simply scatter these seeds to the wind. They must be planted with intention, watered with action, and nurtured with persistence. As with gardening, the fruits of our labor in goal setting are not immediate. They require time, dedication, and the resilience to face the challenges that arise. Yet the harvest they yield is abundance. It brings us closer to our vision, enriches our lives, and empowers us to reach further than we ever thought possible. But how do we set goals that truly matter, that resonate with our deepest aspirations? It begins with reflection, with turning inward to understand what ignites our passion and drives us forward. From this place of clarity, we set goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. These are not just words. They are the framework that transforms vague wishes into clear, actionable objectives. They compel us to move, to act, and to persevere, even when the path ahead is steep. Now, imagine setting a goal so compelling that it pulls you forward, that the thought of achieving it fills you with an irrepressible energy. This is the power of setting meaningful goals. They act as beacons of light in the darkness, guiding us, inspiring us, and pushing us beyond our perceived limits. And with each goal we achieve, we not only move closer to our ultimate vision, but also build a ladder of successes upon which we can climb to heights we once thought unreachable. Yet setting goals is only the beginning. The true challenge lies in the pursuit, in the grind, in the daily commitment to turn our goals into reality. It's in the quiet hours of the morning, in the sacrifices we make, and in the unwavering belief in our ability to achieve what we've set out to do. This commitment, this relentless pursuit, is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. As we delve deeper into the art of goal setting, carry forward the lessons we've learned. Remember that our goals are not just destinations but stepping stones in our journey of growth and self-discovery. They are the milestones that mark our progress, the challenges that test our resolve, and the victories that celebrate our perseverance. And so, as we set our sights on the horizon, do so with a heart full of ambition and a mind focused on our goals. Embrace the challenges, learn from the setbacks, and celebrate each step forward, no matter how small. For it is in the pursuit of our goals that we truly find ourselves, that we uncover the strength, the courage, and the determination to achieve our highest aspirations. Emboldened by our vision and guided by our goals, we come face to face with the very essence of achievement. It's in this space where effort meets perseverance that our dreams begin to take shape, morphing from the intangible into milestones of our persistence. Embracing the grind isn't merely a part of the journey. It's the heartbeat of success, the rhythm to which all great achievers march. It's where work ethic and persistence become not just virtues but the very fuel that propels us forward. Think of the grind as the potter's wheel, and view the clay being shaped and molded by every turn, every pressure applied, every moment spent in the pursuit of mastery. It's a process, sometimes arduous, often demanding, but always transformative. It's about falling in love with the process, with the daily discipline of honing your craft, sharpening your skills, and pushing beyond the boundaries of yesterday's achievements. In this endeavor, our work ethic is our compass, guiding us through the fog of discouragement, the storms of failure, and the calm of routine. It's what gets us up before dawn, ready to tackle the day with zeal, to dive headfirst into our challenges with an unwavering resolve. A strong work ethic doesn't waver in the face of adversity. Instead, it looks adversity in the eye and sees an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to emerge stronger. Persistence, on the other hand, is our anchor, keeping us steadfast in our pursuit, reminding us that the journey to greatness is a marathon, not a sprint. It whispers in our ears during moments of doubt, urging us to take one more step, to try one more time, to persevere through the setbacks and the disappointments. Persistence is the quiet strength that fuels our resilience, enabling us to rise time and again from the ashes of our failures, clothed in the wisdom of our experiences. Imagine now a bridge spanning the chasm between where you were and where you want to be. This bridge is built on the pillars of work ethic and persistence, constructed by your daily efforts, your sacrifices, and your unwavering dedication to your goals. Crossing this bridge requires more than just desire. It demands action, relentless, focused action driven by a deep-seated belief in the inevitability of your success. But make no mistake, the grind is not a solitary journey, a lone battle against the odds. Along this path, we're surrounded by fellow travelers, each with their dreams, their struggles, and their triumphs. It's in this community of dreamers and doers that we find inspiration, support, and the shared wisdom of collective experience. Here, we learn the value of mentorship, of lifting each other up, and of the power of collaboration in turning our individual dreams into a collective reality. As we embrace the grind, do so with a sense of purpose, with the knowledge that every effort, no matter how small, brings us closer to our vision. Celebrate not just the milestones, but the effort it takes to reach them, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, and the unwavering dedication to our craft. For it's in these moments, in the heat of the grind, that our character is forged, our resilience is tested, and our true potential is revealed. In this relentless pursuit of excellence, also be mindful of the journey itself, of the lessons learned, the friendships forged, and the person we become along the way. Find joy in the process, in the daily act of striving for greatness, and in the knowledge that we are not just chasing dreams but living them, one day, one step, one relentless effort at a time. Woven with threads of determination, resilience, and the ceaseless pursuit of excellence, there emerges a golden thread, one that adds strength, vibrancy, and depth to our endeavors. This thread is continuous learning and growth, an indispensable aspect of our voyage towards realizing our fullest potential. It's in this commitment to never stop learning, to embrace growth as our constant companion, that we unlock the doors to realms of possibility previously unimagined. Consider for a moment the story of the ancient mariners, setting sail into uncharted waters driven by a thirst for discovery. Guided by the stars and learning from the sea, their journey was not just about reaching new lands but about the transformation that occurred within them as they faced the unknown, adapted to the challenges, and expanded their understanding of the world. Like these intrepid explorers, we too must set sail on a voyage of intellectual and personal discovery, charting our course through the vast oceans of knowledge, skills, and experiences available to us. This commitment to continuous learning and growth is not merely an academic exercise. It's a way of life, a mindset that sees every experience, every challenge, and every interaction as an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to evolve. It's about cultivating a curiosity that knows no bounds, a hunger for knowledge that is never satiated, and a resilience that grows with each passing day. In this age of information, where knowledge is more accessible than ever before, the challenge is not in finding resources but in choosing where to focus our efforts. It's about discerning which skills are most relevant, which knowledge is most transformative, and which experiences will propel us forward on our journey. This discernment is the compass that guides our learning, ensuring that we invest our time and energy in ways that are aligned with our vision, our goals, and our deepest values. As we embark on this path of continuous learning and growth, do so with intention and purpose. Be strategic in your learning, seeking out mentors who can guide you, communities that can support you, and challenges that can stretch you. Utilize the vast array of books, courses, seminars, and technologies available to you, using them as tools to carve out your unique path to greatness. But also remember that learning is not just about acquisition but about application. It's about translating knowledge into action, theories into practice, and it's in the doing that learning becomes real, that growth occurs, and that we begin to see the tangible fruits of our labor. This is where true mastery lies, not just in knowing but in being and doing. In this journey of continuous learning and growth, also embrace the role of teaching, sharing your knowledge and insights with others. For in teaching, we reinforce our own learning, we solidify our understanding, and we contribute to the growth of those around us. It's in this exchange of knowledge, this cycle of learning and teaching, that we all rise together, elevating not just ourselves but our communities, our societies, and ultimately our world. As we forge ahead, carry with you the lessons of the past, the learnings of the present, and the promise of the future. Approach each day with a learner's heart, a seeker's mind, and a doer's hands, ready to absorb, to apply, and to adapt. For it's in this continuous cycle of learning and growth that we not only achieve our goals but surpass them, not only fulfill our potential but expand it, and not only live our dreams but exceed them. As we stand at the juncture between aspiration and realization, between dreaming and achieving, it's imperative to recognize that the journey we've embarked upon is not for the faint-hearted. It's a path laden with challenges, yet it's also strewn with opportunities for growth, learning, and unparalleled success. The essence of making it happen, of transforming our dreams into reality, is encapsulated in the relentless pursuit of our vision. Armed with a solid work ethic, an insatiable desire for continuous learning, and an unwavering commitment to our goals, envision yourself as a sculptor, with your life as the marble block. Each day presents an opportunity to chisel away at the superficial layers, to refine and define, to reveal the masterpiece within. It's a process that demands patience, persistence, and precision. The tools of goal setting, embracing the grind, and continuous learning are your chisels, shaping your path to greatness. But remember, the sculpture's true power lies not in the tools but in the vision, the unwavering resolve to see the sculpture not for the block of marble it is but for the masterpiece it will become. Making it happen is about more than just action, it's about intentional action. It's about aligning your daily tasks with your deepest values and highest aspirations, recognizing that every choice you make, every effort you exert, is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, contributing to the grand picture of your destiny. This requires not just hard work but smart work, strategically leveraging your strengths, continually adapting to feedback, and staying the course despite the tempest that may seek to veer you off your path. In this journey, do not underestimate the power of small steps. The mightiest mountains are climbed one step at a time, and the most daunting goals are achieved one task at a time. It's the accumulation of these small, seemingly insignificant actions that leads to monumental achievements. Therefore, pledge to take at least one step every day toward your dreams, no matter how small. For it's in these steps that the path to greatness is paved. Embrace the moments of failure, not as detours on your journey but as integral parts of the map. Each setback, each obstacle, each failure is replete with lessons that guide you, that make you wiser, stronger, and more resilient. They remind you that the path to success is not a straight line but a winding road filled with lessons to be learned and victories to be earned. Making it happen, turning your dreams into reality, is an art and a science, a symphony of disciplined action, relentless perseverance, and continuous adaptation. It's a dance between dreaming and doing, between learning and applying. Carry with you the lessons you've learned, the insights you've gained, and the resolve you've strengthened. Step into the arena of your dreams with confidence, armed with the knowledge that you possess everything you need within you to make it happen. Let this be not just the end of a discourse but the beginning of a journey of transformation, achievement, and legacy. Make it happen, not someday, but today and every day henceforth, as you craft your life into the masterpieces they're meant to be. Imagine waking up each morning to the dawn, where the first light of day touches the sky, painting it with hues of orange and pink. In this quiet hour, when the world is still asleep, there's a story that begins. A story of transformation and triumph that starts with the simple act of setting intentions for the day. Let me share with you the story of Jordan. Jordan was like many of us, struggling to find direction, feeling overwhelmed by life's demands, and all too often hitting the snooze button, letting precious mornings slip away. But then something changed. Jordan discovered the transformative power of starting the day with purpose and dedication to personal development and goal setting. Instead of scrolling through social media or rushing out the door, Jordan began dedicating time to visualize goals, to read, to reflect, and to plan. This shift didn't just change mornings, it changed Jordan's life. Goals became clear, actions became intentional, and the impossible suddenly seemed within reach. Now, you might wonder, why is the morning so crucial? Why does winning the morning mean winning the day? The answer lies in the stillness of the morning, The opportunity it presents for clarity and focus before the demands of the day take hold. Successful individuals across the globe harness this time not because it's easy, but because they understand the immense power it holds. It's the time when you can set the tone for your day, align your actions with your goals, and create a momentum that carries you forward. Consider this. How often do we let our mornings dictate our days, rather than dictating our mornings to shape our days? The truth is, the morning offers a fresh start, a reset button that we get to press every single day. It's an unparalleled opportunity to focus on what truly matters before the world starts pulling us in 1,000 different directions. But what stops us from making the most of our mornings? Is it the comfort of our beds, the lure of just a few more minutes of sleep, or perhaps the belief that our days are already set in motion beyond our control? The reality is, each new day brings a new choice. A choice to rise with purpose or to let the day unfold by chance. The secret to transforming your life, like Jordan did, begins the moment you decide to take control of your mornings. It's about creating a morning routine that energizes you, inspires you, and prepares you for the day ahead. It's about dedicating time to your personal growth, to setting your intentions, and most importantly, to taking action towards your dreams, one morning at a time. So, I encourage you to ask yourself, what will you do tomorrow morning to win the day? The answer to that question, my friends, could very well be the first step in your own story of transformation. In the stillness of the morning, when the world is yet to awaken, lies the golden hour for setting the stage for success. Imagine greeting the day with a clear vision of what you wish to achieve, painting the canvas of your day with the colors of your aspirations. This isn't just an ideal. It's a practice that can transform your life, one morning at a time. Consider the power of visualization and goal setting as your first brushstroke. Every morning, take a moment to close your eyes and envision the life you're working towards. By visualizing your goals, you're programming your mind to recognize the opportunities that will move you closer to your aspirations. And with each morning, by setting daily objectives that align with your long-term goals, you're laying down the stepping stones on your path to success. It's about turning the someday into the day, making each day a purposeful stride towards your dreams. Now, weaving the thread of personal development into our morning tapestry offers a sacred space for growth and learning. Whether it's diving into a book that challenges your thinking, listening to a podcast that inspires you, or practicing a skill that sharpens your expertise, dedicating time each morning to personal growth fuels not just your mind but your soul. It's an investment in yourself that pays dividends beyond measure, propelling you towards excellence and fulfillment. Moreover, acknowledging the profound connection between physical well-being and mental clarity, integrating exercise into your morning routine is like setting the rhythm for your day's symphony. Whether it's a brisk walk, a series of stretches, or a dance under the open sky, physical activity energizes the body and clears the mind. It's about waking up to the vitality of life, readying yourself to face the day's challenges with resilience and vigor. This commitment to exercise and well-being is a testament to self-respect, a message you send to yourself that you're worth the effort, that your health and happiness are paramount. This holistic approach to mornings, encompassing visualization, personal development, and physical wellness, sets a powerful precedent for the day. Imagine, as the sun climbs higher, you're already aligned with your purpose, enriched with new insights, and invigorated by the life coursing through your veins. This isn't just the blueprint of a winning morning, it's the foundation of a winning life. So, I ask you, what steps will you take tomorrow morning to paint your day with purpose and passion? The canvas is yours, and the brushstrokes of visualization, personal growth, and well-being are within your grasp. Embrace these practices, not just for the promise of success they hold, but for the fulfillment and joy they bring into each day. Remember, the journey to greatness begins with the first light of dawn. One of the first challenges we face each morning isn't just the sound of the alarm. It's the temptation to procrastinate. We all have that one task, perhaps more, that looms over us, heavy with anticipation. But what if I told you that tackling this Goliath first thing in the morning could not only set the tone for your day, but also transform your approach to challenges? By addressing our most daunting tasks at the start, we harness the fresh energy of a new day when our willpower is at its peak. This act doesn't just diminish the cloud of procrastination, but also instills a sense of achievement early on. It's like climbing a mountain before breakfast. Imagine what else you could accomplish before the day ends. Now, shift our focus to a powerful catalyst for change, gratitude. Imagine starting each day not with a recount of worries or a to-do list, but with a moment of gratitude. This simple act of acknowledging the good in our lives, the blessings both big and small, can dramatically alter our perspective. It's about seeing the glass not just as half full, but as a vessel of endless possibilities. Gratitude ignites positivity, which in turn lights up the path we walk each day. It attracts more positivity, setting a cycle of goodness in motion. Consider this. What if each morning you could write down 3 things you're grateful for? Watch how this practice shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. As we embrace gratitude, let's not forget the cornerstone of personal growth, continuous learning. The dawn of each day brings with it the opportunity to learn something new, to stretch the boundaries of our knowledge and skills. This commitment to learning isn't just about accumulating facts. It's about embracing a mindset of growth and adaptability. In a world that's constantly evolving, staying rooted in the habit of learning ensures we remain relevant, agile, and forward-moving. Whether it's a new language, a piece of historical wisdom, or a skill that enhances our work, dedicating time each morning to learning sets us on a path of perpetual growth. It's about becoming a student of life, where each day is a classroom and every experience a lesson. Imagine integrating these practices into your mornings, overcoming procrastination by embracing your biggest challenges head-on, cultivating an attitude of gratitude that fosters positivity, and committing to continuous learning as a lifelong endeavor. These aren't just strategies for mastering your mornings. They're principles for mastering your life. Ask yourself, how can you apply these principles starting tomorrow morning? How can you transform your mindset before dawn to set the stage for a day of purpose, growth, and positivity? The answers to these questions lie within each of us, ready to be discovered with the rising sun. Not just to achieve success in the conventional sense, but to live a life enriched with learning, gratitude, and the courage to face our challenges head-on. Remember, the mastery of your mornings is just the beginning. It's the mastery of your life that's the ultimate reward. And our journey towards personal and professional excellence begins with establishing rituals for success. These rituals aren't just beneficial, they're essential. The way we begin our day sets a precedent for everything that follows. So, let's lay down the first brick in the construction of our day with precision and purpose, ensuring that everything that stacks on top aligns with our goals and aspirations. Let's craft a personalized morning routine that ignites our passion, fuels our ambition, and prepares us to face the world with our brightest, most potent energy. And let's remember that as our world expands, our rituals must grow with us, providing a steadfast foundation no matter how far or fast we go. In our journey towards personal and professional excellence, establishing rituals for success isn't just beneficial, it's essential. The way we begin our day sets a precedent for everything that follows. So, let's lay down the first brick in the construction of our day with precision and purpose, ensuring that everything that stacks on top aligns with our goals and aspirations. Let's craft a personalized morning routine that ignites our passion, fuels our ambition, and prepares us to face the world with our brightest, most potent energy. And let's remember that as our world expands, our rituals must grow with us, providing a steadfast foundation no matter how far or fast we go. As we stand at the threshold of a new day, let's not forget that the journey to success, fulfillment, and personal growth begins the moment we decide to take charge of our mornings. It's not just about waking up early, it's about waking up to the possibilities that each new day holds. It's about making a conscious decision to cultivate habits and rituals that propel us towards our goals, turning the quiet of dawn into a powerful ally in our quest for achievement. Don't let another morning pass by as just another segment of time. Let tomorrow be the day you start transforming your life, one morning at a time. Begin by setting a simple goal for your morning, something that resonates with your aspirations. Whether it's reading a page of an inspiring book, jotting down 3 things you're grateful for, or dedicating 15 minutes to meditation or exercise, make it a non-negotiable part of your morning. Remember, the journey to greatness begins with the first light of the journey begins today.